And now I'll rise above you.
Swazdula, you gleaming tenno maggots, how the hell are ya? Okay, so y'all voted on Twitter that I should go ahead and make a video about my opinions on the hard mode, which I have played extensively last night after stream, and quite a bit this morning as well. I did some testing. I also had to counter test in the simulacrum a few things, just to see if I was tripping or if it was actually a thing. And yeah, so with all that said and done, I can now finally form an actual educated opinion. Well, educated might be a bit of a stretch, but a more solid opinion. Now, when it comes to hard mode, maybe you guys have heard of it. I assume you probably did. If you haven't, then essentially DE is going to add hard mode into the game that you can access after you've completed the entire star chart. So you beat the entire star chart of the game, and then you get access through Teshin for a so-called hard mode for the entire star chart. It's a toggleable, so you can turn it on and off. At least that's how it is currently for that, from the test cluster, from what we could tell. Pretty sure that that's actually going to be in the end product as well. So you can toggle it on, and then your entire star chart will basically appear to be restarted from the beginning. So you start back on Earth or the Kuba Fortress, so you have two different locations where you can start, but with higher difficulty. Now, as it was advertised basically way back when, and now is in the game, well, in the test server at least, you basically have all the default enemy levels plus 100. So Earth level enemies that start out on regular star chart around 1 or 3, level 1 or 3, are now going to be level 101 and 103, and so on and so forth. Which also means that Mott Survival in the Void, which is arguably the most difficult survival mission that we have, starting at enemy level 40 to 45, are now going to be level 140 to 145 starting. Now, if you guys remembered, I did do a video on AI versus enemy level, where I made a huge case about trying to make it clear to DE that the AI is where the difficulty should be at, which I know is a big issue and it's a big problem, and all of these things, you can't just do it overnight, and it's much easier to just scale up the enemy levels. And when they first talked about increasing the enemy levels with this hard mode, that was of course the first thing that I started bitching about, that enemy levels, increasing them isn't going to mean anything, because even if we have level 9,000 enemies, we're still melting them with our weapons and warframes and whatnot, which is still the case. However, with the new hard mode that's coming, they added a little something that took me by surprise. They added sortie modifiers into them. So the sortie modifiers are, for one, like double health, so they have way more health. You can really feel a difference. I don't know if it's actually random, the modifiers, or if they're just built in by default, where they have double health, more shields, and more armor. Which also scales a little bit differently, because I could tell that even my meta builds with which I melt level 170 enemies, and my meta builds with which I've actually gone to levels of 2000 and above, they still melted everything. Those exact same builds were, I don't want to say struggling in hard mode, but they did not seem as effective as they usually should be, right? So I don't know if that was a random modifier or if it's always in there. But before we get into the whole opinions thing and my conclusion about the whole hard mode, let's define what the hard mode actually is. So DE gave us a little mental guideline, if you will, on what it is and what it is not, which I'll blend in for you guys to read along right now, just to set the tone, because everybody would go in blindly with their own expectations, and that would probably tarnish how you think about it. But if you have your mind set straight, you know how to deal with it and how to approach this whole hard mode thing. So, according to DE, the intention of what this hard mode is supposed to be are the following 3 points. higher difficulty series of content that rewards exclusive cosmetic decorations, emotes, and mastery. So prestige items. That's really good. I think I very much like that. I've mentioned it before in videos too. Having prestige items of any type that are tied to gains for effort. So you do something significant in the game, you get rewarded for it, and everybody else can see it too because it's a decoration, for example, or an emote, or a Sayandana, or a sigil, or whatever. Anything like that related to prestige is always a decent thing to put into something that you may or may not want to call endgame. Point number 2. An extra layer of opportunity for players to use their powerful gear to take on threats at a higher level without having to wait in missions for long periods of time. Bitching point that a lot of people have been crying about is that when we want difficult content, we don't want to have to go into a survival mission for 3 hours until it starts getting fun. Now it just starts off immediately at a higher level. Also good. Point number 3, a way to engage with some better scaling affinity and mod rewards. That is the only point in my conclusion so far where this hard mode kind of fails, but I'll get to that later. What it is not intended to be associated with the nebulous endgame topic. So this hard mode is not endgame, okay? Don't think that it is. There's going to be something else probably. Also, what it is not is overly complicated in its goal to simply provide higher level content. So that also very, very successful. It's not hard, it's just a simple enemy boost, and it does truly feel different. Again, we'll get to that later. And number 3, what it is not supposed to be is tiered. So it's not supposed to have any level, any tiers or anything like that the way other missions may have. It's just a straight up increase and whatnot, so that's also pretty straightforward. So with all those things provided by DE on what to expect from this hard mode, here I was going into it, and my conclusions, I'm just going to go with the pros really quickly, are the following. Pros about the hard mode. The difficulty feels good. Like I said, if you think you're going to jump into these missions and it's going to be similar to the simulacrum where you practice, I guess, on level 130, 140 and whatnot enemies, or even scale them all the way up to level 170 or 175, and the enemy levels are higher than anywhere on the hard mode star chart, because the highest level difficulty that you will find on the hard mode star chart is 145. Simulacrum can scale all the way up to 175 right now, right? So if you go in there expecting that you're going to kill off the hard mode enemies as easily or even easier than the simulacrum enemies, you're fucked. That is not going to happen. They will rip your ass a new one. Like I said, I don't know if the multipliers, or the modifiers rather, I don't know if those are random or if they're always there. It kind of differs. I couldn't really tell, and I was too lazy to ask somebody about it. Fact of the matter is, what you do notice is that you do get slapped and bent over. And that feels really good though. Ironically. Going into Warframe in hard mode now really gives you a sense of struggle, which is kind of cool. It's really good in that sense that it makes you feel like, holy shit, I can actually fail here. Holy shit, the defense target, I actually need to use my brain. Holy shit, I can actually pump in hundreds of thousands of damage and still not really just melt everything. So there's actual challenge there, I'd say. The enemy AI, oddly, also somehow comes into play, because when the enemies don't die with one shot, everything, like your Kuva Brahma, you can take that and shove it right up your ass. That shit is a liability in hard mode, which I find really, really cool. But when enemies are not dying with one shot, then their AI, it doesn't seem to be all that stupid anymore. They're still dumb and they're still mindless drones, but they're just very, very tanky, mindless drones, and they do some things that are really inconvenient for you, like hide behind cover, for example, and reduce blast damage from, for example, a Brahma or whatever. All of these things. It comes down to defeating the hard mode, comes down to knowing how to get rid of enemy resistances, which means reduce their shields or remove their shields, which means reduce or remove their armor, because when they don't have any armor, when they don't have any damage resistance, they're pushovers, even in hard mode. They don't hit hard enough to where you're being constantly one-shotted. They do hit fairly hard, But if you know how to avoid that, you'll be alright. And that also brings me directly to the cons. Yes, there was only one pro. That doesn't mean that the hard mode is shit, but there was only one true pro that I could write down about it. Now here comes the cons. The fact that it absolutely begs for either squad play or meta builds. Let me elaborate real quick. The one thing that I like about the hard mode is that it's challenging, but the way that it is set up in and of itself is it's a little bit troublesome. If you want to play it solo, okay? Let me back up a little bit. The rewards that you get from these hard mode missions, right? You don't get rewards for each mission that you complete. You get a reward for completing a planet, okay? Now, while playing through these missions, you also get the double resource drops, double mod drops, and double affinity or more. I don't know. The affinity, I don't know where that went to. It doesn't feel like you get all that much affinity. The drops are irrelevant because by the time you reach this hard mode, who is going to give a shit about dropping more plastids? You know, double plastids. Nobody's going to care. By the time you get to hard mode, keep in mind, the prerequisite for it is to actually complete the entire vanilla start chart, okay? So by the time you get to that content, you're not going to care about 1,000 extra plastids. So it's irrelevant, essentially, right? So who cares? So you get to this end mode, you get to this hard mode, and then you get these double drops that are irrelevant. And then the only reward that you really want is going to be the completion of planets that will reward you these prestige items, right? So the player's mentality is going to be, let me finish off Earth as quickly and as efficiently as I can, because that's when I get the actual reward that is relevant to me, right? Now, the moment you want to get through Warframe content quickly, you're going to want to do it efficiently, and the only way to do that efficiently is by using meta builds. Even more so in hard mode. If you think you're going to grab your solo variety frame, and by variety frame I mean you grab whatever frame you're in the mood for, and just play, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. My experience was this. I played the extermination missions, I played mobile defense missions, I did it with Baruch a little bit, I did an interception with Baruch on Earth, so the first couple of missions that you can play, all of them on hard mode of course, and they worked out fine, they were okay. I did a lot of playing with Mag just because I can scale very well with Mag, or rather, how should I put this? I can determine how a game mode feels best with Mag because I play the entire game with Mag. I've played the most with Mag. So if I need to compare one game mode with another, especially when it comes to difficulty, then Mag is like my constant, right? So I played a lot of these missions with Mag, and it was fine, you know, I killed everything just the way I would on regular Star Chart, of course with considerably more effort, and that was cool. Like I said, that did feel good. It actually felt like I was being challenged and like, okay, well, I need to, you know, use my head a little bit on how am I going to get through these enemy defenses and just destroy them, right? So it felt all good. Until I got to the mission types that started to get a little bit annoying, namely defense mission on Earth. So here I am on defense mission on Earth. I knew I could beat the defense mission by using a very specific mag build and very, very specific weapons, but I didn't want to do that because it falls into the line of meta. So I did it with Baruch, and I failed. I did it with Ember, and I failed. I did it with Loki, and I failed. I could have won with Loki, but again, I'm trying to stay away from meta. And my conclusion was, in the end, I did this today and a little bit last night before I went to bed. Before that I did other things. I noticed that unless you use a meta build, you are not going to beat those defense levels, for example, okay? There's no way. You cannot go in there. If you are a Chroma main, for example, you're like, okay, I'm going to get my Chroma, I'm going to get my best weapons that are even made for defense, and on vanilla Star Chart, even on higher levels, you might be able to do, let's say, Hydron for 20 waves solo with your Chroma, because your weapons and everything can keep up, and you can just, you know, you can deal with it. In hard mode, there's no fucking way. Now, that's kinda cool, but it's also a bit of a burnout death trap, because hard mode forces you, essentially, to play certain frames specific weapons in a very specific way if you want to progress efficiently. And if not that, then it will force you to squad up with others. And that is where it really gets fun. Now to me, solo, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed, unless you love meta builds. If you're a meta whore, then you're going to love hard mode all by your lonesome. If you're not a meta whore and you would prefer to have just some fun and whatnot, grab yourself some friends, hop into that hard mode, and just try to dominate everything. That is really fun. I did a Kuva survival with a couple of randoms from the test cluster. We did, I think, 40 or 50 minutes. We had a mag, I think. Well, I was the mag. There was a banshee in there, I think, and I don't remember what the other ones were. But it wasn't any kind of a meta build or anything. It was just a couple of guys and gals just grabbing whatever frames they wanted, and we went in and we did fine. We did quite fine. We prevailed. Life support got low a little bit because we scattered and enemies weren't dying very fast, but it was a really, really fun session because you actually had to work for it. It wasn't overly difficult, it wasn't undefeatable. In fact, as a squad, I almost want to say that even hard mode is fairly easy, but that's because of the symphony that you can create with different warframes working together. If you know how symphonies work, or synergies rather, and you create a symphony of doom, if you will, with your warframes, then even hard mode isn't going to be overly challenging. But it will be a decent challenge. It'll feel good, especially because it's right off the bat and not 4 or 5 hours into a damn survival, for example. But back to the initial problem. If you want to play alone and you like the variety of the game, you want to play, I don't know, Valkyrie in this particular mission, you want to beat the next couple of missions with your Valkyrie and maybe your, I don't know, Tankor or whatever, then you're fucked. There's no way you're going to get very far in hard mode, and it already starts on Earth, right? So you need specific warframes to cheese through it if efficiency is what you're after. And in some cases, it's literally unbeatable on your own without the use of cheese, okay? Again, without the use of cheese, you will not defeat the 5 waves of Earth defense in hard mode using whatever you want. You have to use a certain cheesy tactic in order to get through it. Like I did with Loki, just disarm everybody all the time, then their damage becomes irrelevant to the pod, and then just melee the crap out of everything with red viral crits all over the place, right? That's the only way that you can defeat it. And other meta ways, of course. And that's a bit of a death trap, because here you are, you're players who want to get those prestige items, you want to beat the planets fairly quickly, because honestly, the star chart ain't that fun. You have, what, 225 missions or something, all of them made up of 7 or 8 different mission types, that's it. So you're going to be doing every mission type, your survivals, your extermination, your spies, your mobile defense, all of those mission types you'll be doing 30, 40 times each in hard mode. Again, you're just repeating the star chart, but in hard mode. That is bound to frustrate people. Now, my suggestion to fix this a little bit was maybe DE could reduce the amount of missions available in hard mode so that there's not a full star chart of 230-ish missions to play, but rather maybe just 50 or so, right? In some way or another, just to reduce the repetitiveness, okay? Because nobody is like, yay, I'm going to do a spy mission in hard mode because it's so fun. No, you'll grab your Ivara and just go invisible through everything and all the lasers and you'll be fine and nobody will care. But again, that's a cheese tactic. What I'm getting at is that the star chart, playing through the star chart, beating every planet one by one, is not a very fun experience. It is for the first couple of planets. When you go to the first time, you're going to the Corpus tile set and doing a mobile defense there because the tiles look different. That's cool. That's cool and all. But once they start repeating themselves, it's just repetitive grind, and nobody wants that. Another suggestion that I made toward DE for maybe addressing the reward system a little bit is, again, nobody cares about extra resources, right? How about we have resource drops per mission. Okay, so every mission right now as it is, you do get some extra benefits from playing missions, you know, like the more affinity, you get more resource drops, more mods. That's all fine and dandy, and like, I'm not saying that it should be removed, I'm just saying it's irrelevant. By the time you reach that level of content, you're not going to care about a couple extra 1,000 plastids, for example. Okay, and that's all fine and dandy, but how about this? At the end of missions, you have a chance to be rewarded certain items, certain things. A suggestion that I made, and I'm not saying this needs to be in the game, it's just an idea of, you know, to give you a bit of a flavor of what might be juicy for players who want this content, right? Which are going to be some sort of veterans or elitists or whatever. Or masochists, we don't know. But perhaps a special relic that only drops rare items. For example, for years we've been bitching about relics, making them fully radiant and everything, and they're still dropping common drops. We hate that, and it is super annoying. It is really annoying. So what if the hard mode were to reward you with relics that don't have any common drops? They only have their 3 or maybe 4, because it's a special relic, rare drops, for example, and you can use those in regular fishers as usual. That would be that would be really juicy. I'd be like, oh hell yeah. Then I'd play all of the missions happily. Or how about some sort of a gadget that might reduce a negative effect on a ribbon of choice by half, or maybe even remove it entirely. One gadget, one use per ribbon, let's say, right? So you have a ribbon that has all the great stats that you want, however it has plus recoil, and you don't want the plus recoil. You use the gadget on that said ribbon, and that particular negative effect that you can select, and it'll reduce that negative recoil by half, or remove it entirely. For example, I think that would also be a very juicy reward, right? How about caches at the end of missions, or maybe even within the missions that you can find, which I would probably veer away from, honestly, but like caches at the end of missions that you're rewarded that can have a big bulk of some sort of a resource that is maybe a little bit more relevant for us, like, I don't know, 10,000 endo, or 150 or 250 or 300 ducats or whatever, ducats or whatever you want to call them, right? Or maybe something, kuva, 50,000 kuva, or something like that. Are all of these rewards super relevant? No, not, especially not for veterans, not really. But it's better than just straight up resource drop chance boosts, because those are irrelevant to us, right? You could maybe even reward something like Exilus slots, or certain tokens that if you gain 5 of them or 10 of them or whatever, you can craft an umbral forma out of them, for example. You know, things like that. Things that are interesting and juicy for us to be rewarded, but do it mission by mission, because that will also give me as a player a reason to play let's say 2 or 3 hard mode missions on Earth or Venus or wherever, because I know I can get a juicy reward just from the mission. But approaching the planet as a whole and knowing, okay, I need to complete this entire goddamn planet in order to get a reward that I may care about, that's just a little bit, I don't know, that's a little bit too far apart, if you know what I mean. I don't know, maybe you disagree, maybe you don't, I don't know. Another negative that I had to write up and bring up to DE are your goddamn companions. Companions in hard mode are a non-existence. They are completely irrelevant. Within the first 2 shots that they take, they're down. It doesn't matter how you build them, it doesn't matter what you do, you're constantly busy reviving them. That is the only thing you can do. If you're using Helios or whatever, one-shot it all the time. Yes, you can use certain builds where you can kind of aid that and blah blah. You could go with a full melee build and then you can keep them alive fairly decently, but again, you have to go with a certain meta. You're forced to play a certain way to keep your companion alive, which is silly and annoying, and it's really bothersome. My suggestion for this that I did bring up to DE, who knows, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, maybe you agree, maybe you don't, is make the pets invincible for hard mode only. Think about it for a second. Your pet is a companion. It is supposed to aid you in whatever you're doing in the game, right? They all have different characters, or rather different abilities. They have different uses for that. And if they would not die, then you can modify them to take advantage of their uses, right? You can get a Roxa Kubro or whatever that'll scare enemies away. You can get your Chessa or whatever to fetch shit for you and do this and do that, disarm and all of these things. You can use them for what they're intended for. Same thing goes for obviously Kavats and your Helios, your Helios, lol, your Sentinels and your freaking robot chickens and all those things, right? You can use them as an actual companion, which would make hard mode a little bit more viable and interesting for solo players as well. You don't have to worry about your companions dying all the time if they're revivable. If they're sentinels, then they're just dead and they're gone. It's just annoying. You can't do anything with them. There's literally no point whatsoever in equipping them in the first place, which is a damn shame. So, suggestion would be make them invincible. That way the player can focus their builds not on survivability, but rather on utility, which is exactly the category where I feel that companions should be. There should be a utility. They should be an aid to whatever it is you're trying to do in the game. It'll also open the door for a lot of companion variety, because you will no longer need a specific companion to do a specific task. You can use whichever one you want that will aid whatever it is you're trying to do. It's just an idea. I don't know, but I think that would be really cool. For the rest of the game, for vanilla, by the way, I don't think that necessarily making them invincible is the right thing, but maybe giving them infinite respawns or something might be decent. I don't know. That's a different story though. So to make this video a little bit shorter, because I could go on for hours, I guess the conclusion is this: hard mode as it is right now in the test server, and as per what my experiences were, if you're a squad player, a team player, if you like playing with clanmates or with friends or whoever, if you like playing in squads, duo squads, trio, however you want to pronounce it, right? If you like 4-man squads, whatever, then hard mode is going to be very, very fun for a little while, I suspect. It'll be really interesting and really fun to group up with your friends, with your squad mates, with your, not squad mates, but with your clan mates, with whatever, right? And just, you know, beat the shit out of the star chart. That is really fun. It's really great. And I really like that. I had a good time doing that. It's really nice. If you're not so much a team player, or you just don't want to have to rely on squads, you would prefer to just go in, and also keep in mind matchmaking is going to be an issue probably, because there are going to be certain missions where there's never anybody with you that's going to play unless you actively recruit. Or perhaps your internet sucks and you just don't want to play with other, or whatever the reason. If you're for whatever reason solo on hard mode, you're fucked. Unless you don't mind using only silly meta builds. If that is your groove, then you will also enjoy hard mode as a solo player. But if not, if you're like me, you like variety, you like to grab whatever frame and whatever weapons and go in, no matter how hard it may be. But if you like that variety, you will definitely hit an ironclad wall somewhere along the lines of hard mode, because there will be a couple of missions that you cannot defeat without squads or meta. That's just how it is. So, I don't know, do with that whatever you want. It would be great if you guys would leave your feedback down in the comment section, because I am going to be referring this video toward DE as well, if they want to, if nothing else, so that they can look at the comment section and see some of your thoughts, get some more outside perspectives. Maybe some people that were in the test cluster will also comment down below and see if they feel the same way or not. Whatever you feel, let me know in the comment section. Keep it short and concise though, because we all know that nobody's got time to read wall of text, so try to keep it concise and short and to the point, and let me know your thoughts. So there you go, my opinions and my experiences with hard mode, my suggestions to maybe improve it a little bit, or what DE might want to look at just a little bit to make sure that it actually stays relevant for a while. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. As usual, stay safe and healthy and all that other good shit. And until then, peace the fuck out.